Guys, today, is there any chance that the WNBA, that Kathy Engelbert saw some of the ratings that I'm about to show you now and said, hey, Indiana Fever, can you do us a favor? Can you do us a solid? Can you just tease a Caitlin Clark return, kind of boost these up a little bit? Can you just dangle a Caitlin Clark return in front of the fans' faces, try to boost these ratings up a little bit?
Why did the Indiana Fever and Stephanie White decide not to come out and say, hey, she's not practicing. She's not going to be playing in this game?
The stories in the last couple days is Caitlin Clark injury. The WNBA and the front office thought it would be in their best interest to put on a game injury report that Caitlin Clark is a game time decision. I think they did that for ticket sales. I think they knew that we all was going to pick up on that and pretty much say, well, you know what? There's a chance Caitlin Clark could be coming back for this game, maybe even that game.
What happens when the biggest star in women's basketball becomes a pawn in a game of ratings manipulation? Today, we're diving into one of the most controversial situations in WNBA history that has fans questioning everything they thought they knew about sports integrity. The Indiana Fever and ESPN found themselves at the center of a massive controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark's return from injury. Multiple sources were reporting different timelines for her comeback, creating a storm of confusion that went far beyond simple miscommunication. This wasn't just poor planning. This was something much more calculated and problematic. Here's what actually happened. Clark had been listed as a game-time decision for the matchup against the Dallas Wings on August 12th. ESPN had been promoting her potential return for weeks, building massive anticipation among fans who were desperately waiting to see the league's most electrifying player back on the court. Ticket sales were soaring, television viewership projections were through the roof, and gambling lines were being set based on her expected participation.
This is why I've got a problem, because there's gambling implications here. All right? There's gambling implications, and there's the implications of we've got a nationally televised game on ESPN. We want to sell as many tickets as possible. And by the way, charge the most money we can get and get gate revenue, yada, yada, yada. I don't like that this is just coming out. I don't. This club, this coach has known damn good and well. The majority of the fan base thought she was coming back tomorrow.
But behind the scenes, the reality was completely different. Clark wasn't even practicing with the team yet. She was still limited to basic conditioning work, doing full court running to build endurance, but hadn't returned to actual basketball activities. The coaching staff knew this. The front office knew this. Yet they allowed the speculation and hype to continue building without providing any clarity to the public. This created a perfect storm of deception that hurt everyone involved. Fans who purchased expensive tickets expecting to see Clark play were left disappointed and angry. Gamblers who placed bets based on her expected participation felt manipulated by incomplete information. Television audiences tuning in specifically to watch the superstar were left watching a product they didn't sign up for. The most troubling aspect of this situation was the apparent coordination between multiple parties to maintain the illusion. The Fever could have easily clarified Clark's status days before the game. They could have announced she wasn't ready to return, managing expectations appropriately. Instead, they chose to remain silent, allowing the hype machine to continue churning.
She's been able to get a little bit more in her full court running, with all of her body weight. It's really building up from doing minimal to then building some endurance to do longer periods of time. She's been able to do a little bit more on the court in terms of how she moves. Caitlin Clark's.
So there is really no timetable as to when Caitlin Clark could return. Y'all got me? There is no set time as when CC could possibly be coming back. And as of right now, the Indiana Fever is looking real spooky because they're not keeping it at 100, which means keeping the transparency with us clear as day.
ESPN's role in this controversy cannot be ignored either. As the broadcasting partner, They had a vested interest in maximizing viewership for their nationally televised game. The network continued promoting the possibility of Clark's return even as evidence mounted that she wasn't close to being ready. This created an ethical conflict between journalistic responsibility and business interests. The gambling implications of this situation are particularly serious. Sports betting has become increasingly integrated into professional sports, with billions of dollars wagered on games every season. When teams and media outlets provide misleading information about player availability, it creates an unfair advantage that undermines the integrity of the betting markets. Bettors deserve accurate, timely information to make informed decisions. From a fan perspective, this controversy highlighted deeper issues within the WNBA's approach to transparency and communication. Unlike established leagues like the NFL or NBA, which have strict injury reporting protocols, the WNBA operates with much looser standards. This creates opportunities for manipulation that would never be tolerated in other professional sports.
Yeah, the Indiana Fever, I think, should have come out before now and made everybody aware, hey, Caitlin Clark's not playing against the Wings. But we waited till the afternoon before the game, and I don't want to hear strategic advantage. You know, I mean, yeah. I mean, it'd be a strategic advantage if you could get her back.
The business motivations behind this deception are obvious but troubling. The WNBA has struggled with attendance and viewership for years, making Clark's meteoric rise incredibly valuable to the league's bottom line. Her presence in games can double or triple television ratings, and her star power fills arenas that would otherwise have empty seats. This creates enormous pressure to maximize her appearances and the anticipation surrounding them. However, this short-term thinking ultimately damages the league's credibility and relationship with fans. When supporters feel manipulated or deceived, they lose trust in the organization. This erosion of confidence can have long-lasting effects that far outweigh any temporary boost in ratings or ticket sales. The situation also exposed concerning dynamics within the WNBA's leadership structure. Unlike other major professional sports leagues, the WNBA appears to make decisions based on factors beyond pure basketball considerations. Personal relationships, political agendas, and social dynamics seem to influence important decisions in ways that would be unthinkable in more established leagues. This lack of professional boundaries creates an environment where accurate information becomes secondary to other priorities. When coaches, front office executives, and media personalities have overlapping relationships and conflicting interests, the truth often gets lost in the shuffle.
But the reporting of her timeline in general, there has been no rhyme or reason to what has been shared about it. To put her as a game time decision for today's game, and then Coach Stephanie White basically coming out and saying she has done no practicing with the team, that's crazy. And
the Clark controversy serves as a wake-up call for the WNBA to implement better standards for injury reporting and public communication. Fans deserve honesty about player availability, not carefully crafted marketing campaigns designed to maximize revenue at the expense of transparency. Moving forward, the league needs to establish clear protocols similar to those used in other professional sports. Teams should be required to provide accurate, timely updates on player injuries and availability. Media partners should be held to higher standards for reporting, preventing them from promoting false hope for commercial gain. The integrity of professional sports depends on honest communication between organizations and their supporters. When teams and media outlets prioritize short-term profits over long-term credibility, everyone loses. Fans lose trust, players lose respect, and the sport itself loses legitimacy. This controversy represents a critical moment for the WNBA's future. The league can either learn from these mistakes and implement meaningful reforms, or continue down a path that prioritizes manipulation over integrity. The choice they make will determine whether the current surge in popularity becomes a foundation for sustained growth, or just another missed opportunity in the league's troubled history.